What's going on, everybody? We are back. Episode 2, Season 3. My name is Nick Valley.
I'm Jonah Doc and I. This is Hosanna. And we're Rev Rock Revolution!
Rev Rock Revolution! What's going on? All right, we're here. Another episode, another day. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. How about you guys?
Let's do this.
Feeling really good.
I'm great.
Let's do this thing.
I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
We did. Jonah, do you want to hear something crazy? This is the most consistent we've ever been. We have a guest twice in a row. We've actually followed through with the plan we have on the show for the first time.
The first time we actually planned something.
And we stuck to it. I know, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hosanna, for coming on our show. Much.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Oh, you're so welcome. I didn't know I was doing you guys such a favor. This is awesome.
You really are. You really are. No one wanted to be on our show. We weren't going to tell you that.
All our fans are getting sick of us already, so.
They are. They're getting sick of the show. No, that's all jokes, all love. We know you love the show, hopefully. But we wanted to do something a little different, and I'm glad we did, because you get to meet all the beautiful people that we've met and love and cherish, and this is one of them that we hold very near and dear to us. We've had nothing but great experiences with you in the past. So maybe we talk a little bit how we know you, and then we can kind of get into you a little bit more. This is good, by the way. I just want to mention, and then I'm going to stop talking. It's good that we have guests this year because it allows me to finally shut up on our show. So I'll let you take it away. Hosanna, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, we met. Oh my God. Let's see. It was over a year ago. It's been. Wait, how long has it been now? 2 years.
Something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
We met. Yeah, we met on at Music Career Mastermind.
Yep.
Where we were all enrolled to learn about production and how to essentially build a career out of music. And I think the three of us, the first real interaction that we had was when we were thrown into a group project together.
Yes.
And we were assigned, this was our little group to write a song. And we had who else was in our group?
Jordan.
Yeah.
He was not invited.
Sorry, we
love you, Jordan.
Minus Jordan. Throwing shade, right? No, if you're watching, we love you, man. We have to get him on the show. But that's true. We did. We were a tight group, I have to say.
It was such a good. That was my very first collaborative writing experience in Mastermind, and I think like in that official format, that was my first real collaboration musically, where you're given some parameters and here, write a song, and this is what it's gonna be like, and do it. It was so good.
It was so good. I love that song.
Good.
I love that. I listen to that song every couple of weeks, and I'm like, dang, I want to write with you guys again, because we clicked just like that.
One of us needs to record. One of us needs to actually record that song, though. I feel and release it.
I totally agree. It was just so fun. I I was super nervous going in. Not gonna lie to you guys. Not because first of all, I already knew that you guys were both wildly talented, so that was a plus. However, I was more nervous that I'm how genre wise, how on earth are we gonna blend,
I know.
But it worked so well.
Yeah,
I was just shocked, and I think it's because we were I felt your excitement going into it, as we were talking about ideas and throwing things around. You guys were just stoked, and I got more stoked, and then we were all just yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love what you said. That was my first time doing something like that, kind of. It was my first time being on the other side of it. I did that one time as an artist, but I kind of got to set the parameters, and I got to kind of control where the ship was going. So but that was different, us fitting in those parameters. And I mean, I'm glad that they decided to throw clean song at us the day we presented, and it was was a little late for that. Quickly, somebody go get censors, put them in the song. That's the most curses I've ever put in a song, by the way.
I know. Me too, by far.
So
Me too. I've only had
That
one song that has
line
like
goes through my
one.
head
That's
every
not
week.
for me. I think that's a lot more in my songs.
You do, right?
That's true.
But it was the same word at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what
Oh,
made us all
my
click
God.
so well was that we
Was our
didn't
love of
go
fuck?
into it being super serious. Yeah, we didn't give a fuck.
Absolutely. That was it. You can't take yourself too seriously when you're writing,
No.
right? Otherwise you never
can't.
finish the
Exactly.
song.
Yeah, no.
And we couldn't a second without Jordan. I would say
Right.
that he's one of the most like we're gonna talk about Jordan for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Imagine. Oh my God! Just send this to him after it's done. That'd be
We miss
hilarious.
you, man.
We do. But yeah, though it was great. And then I feel like from there we just kind of it was always this inside thing between us. And we haven't really gotten to have like a reunion since then. So this is pretty cool.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and I'm excited to like hear more about you because I've only like I think Jonah too. Like we've kind of like scratched the surface of like
Yeah.
your artistry and your like journey, and like I'm excited to like hear this full thing. So yeah, Jonah, if you want to lead into like asking like about that, that would be cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so how did you get started in music? Cuz I know that you released was it is an EP or album during or before COVID, right?
An EP. Yeah. It was okay. Right. So that EP, if we're gonna go back that far, how did I get okay. I have always been writing songs. So even before I considered myself an artist or a musician or anything, I would say that I would have these lyrics and a lot of the time with melodies that would come out and they would get stuck in my head or I'd write them down or whatever. And eventually I just had a collection of songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, whatever, this is just like my brain doing its thing. But then finally got to the point in my life where I was like, I kind of want to do something with this, you know? I'm like, I might as well just like record it. And so I looked into that. And I raised money to record a 5-track EP on Kickstarter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was yeah, what an experience that was. Unfortunately, the person that I had paid to be my producer fell through and took all my money. And I ended up with literally nothing. Yeah. So this was like probably 20,
That's crazy.
2018, maybe 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I had raised, it was like $6,000 and I
What the
lost
fuck?
Ouch.
yeah. All of it. And I had literally nothing. Like,
Did you have any
nothing.
way of like retribute like
Not really. Cause we didn't have like, see, this is so
written
stupid.
agreement?
Did not have a written agreement. Did not have a contract, and I have learned my lesson. I thought because I knew this person, you know, that we were friends, like I thought this would be cool. No. This I've heard this story so many times since this has happened to me.
Yeah.
No, they decided to move states as well, so there was even less chance of me, you know, getting that figured out. So I went back to having nothing.
Wow.
And it was like a real like existential crisis because I'm like, I had to come to terms with I don't know how to do this myself. I don't no longer have the money. But I have these songs and I don't know if it's worth it to try this again, you know?
Yeah.
And I think like that was when I first was like, I think I have to do this. Like I think I have to do music. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with all of the stuff that it cost and like everything that I was going through in my life at the time, it was a very conscious decision to be like, I have to do this for myself. Otherwise, I don't really think that I'm doing anything in life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I did. I found a friend who recorded for me, and like kind of like we used his like home studio. It was very DIY. Like none of us really knew what we were doing, and we threw together an EP over the course of a couple years, and then in the height of the pandemic, I released it. And then I said,
Nice.
"Wow, I never want to do this again. This was a terrible experience."
I think, I went through something like that too.
Right?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was terrible. Not because like I loved the creative process, I loved recording all that, but oh my gosh, like this from beginning to end, I felt like it drained everything from me. So I think it was a year later, I stumbled across an Instagram ad for Music Career Mastermind. And I just was like, meh, whatever. I don't know what this is. It might be a scam, but I'm going to apply. And here we are. I had like
here we are.
Yeah, here you are. Three
singles
released
I met you
since then,
two.
right?
Yeah. Since then, I've
They're all
released 3
killer
singles.
tracks.
I have. Oh, thank you.
They are. They really are. They're great.
I really appreciate that, because I still feel like a baby producer, you know? I'm still
You're
learning.
insane. I have to say,
Your productions
I mean,
are
like, you literally,
crazy.
like,
I wish my level of productions were up there. They're so creative. You use such
Exactly.
interesting sounds.
you are not. You're very good. I have to. You are. It's true.
Well,
exactly what he said. I think that too when I listen to your productions. I'm like, I wish I could do this. Like, this is not my skill set. Like, this is not my strong suit. It's impressive.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
is.
I think it's a lot of what happens in my productions are happy accidents. You know?
Oh, I feel that. I definitely I do that all the time. I'll be like, oh yeah, I played that solo, and I'm like, I played that little harmonic wrong, but you know what? It's kind of cool. Whatever, fuck it. Let's just keep playing.
Leave it in. Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah, that's the best stuff. I feel, in my opinion. Yeah, it definitely is. But
honestly.
that is so fascinating. Like, yeah, look, I can't speak for Jonah. I have been in that situation before. Not at that scale, not at that amount of money, but I had a fan do that to me once with merch, and that was fun.
Ooh.
But it wasn't that much money. But I get it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
are you fucking kidding? Now that's why I have a bunch of things in place, policy agreements and everything when people buy shit from me. But like,
Yeah.
you know, you live and you learn, right?
You do. And I think like for some reason, like the arts, especially being a musician, everybody has to learn that lesson. Because
there are a lot of scam artists in this business.
Yes, everybody is trying to exploit artists all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's either because they're kind of in a similar position and they're desperate for money, or they know other people are, and that's their way that they make their bank. And it's pathetic, but you know, it's how people do their thing, and you know,
That's
it's
life.
It's life, man. You live, you learn. I mean, you go through shit, and I get
You
it.
do.
I totally get it. I don't know if you've been through something like that, Jonah, but it's not fun.
I haven't really been anything too serious. I mean, there's been gigs where we've been told we'd be paid for, and then we're not, and then it's like, what can we do after that? It's like,
because it's word of mouth, right? I mean, Judge
Right.
Judy. I mean, what are you going to do at that point?
You leave a
And
review.
who wants to do that? Right? Who wants to go on national television?
Don't
and fight
don't work
someone
with them
in fake
ever
court?
again.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think that starts to happen. Is like that happens to people in life, and like eventually, it's like multiple people say the same thing about somebody. Who wants that reputation? You know, I think your reputation matters, and
It does.
you know, and I think you have such a great one. And it's like when we thought about who we were gonna have on this show, you were like one of the first people that we were like,
Aw.
because, you know, I can speak for myself. I know Jonah does too. I think very highly of you. I know he does too.
Yeah, agreed.
So
I feel the same way about you too. Seriously. I was stoked, especially I know I'm sure you guys get this all the time, but are people like, "Oh, you're so young," like, you know, like you have
all the
so
time,
much, right?
all the time, all the time.
What's striking to me about it is just like your skill level at this age to me is shocking.
Thank you.
For both of you, you guys
Thank
have
you so
mastered,
much.
I think, your instruments so well, and then the fact that you're both writing your own songs and then performing and like doing all of this, it's just like it blows me away. Like I'm just so amazed. Like, because
you.
it is. I think the reason that people point out your age is because of your skill level. I hope that's how it comes across, but I'm sure it gets annoying too.
Sometimes it's condescending. Sometimes not from
Oh,
you.
that's true.
Not
Yeah.
from you. Sometimes it is. It's like, oh, who do you think you are at this age? It's like,
Ooh.
yeah. I've been. Not that people say that, but there's subtext. There's always subtext.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I think all we can do is like, Joan, I think you agree with this too. Is you just show up, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's nothing else you
just
can
show
do
up,
in those
do our thing.
situations.
Yeah, I like letting the music speak for itself when like the
Yeah.
people are like, oh you're a musician, and like it has that like negative on it. They're like oh you're a musician instead of going to college.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup. I have a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids my age that do that to me. It's like, so where are you going to school? And I'm just like, oh, I'm not. And it is
Wow. Yeah.
immediate. It's immediate, man. It's like, it's this like feeling, and they won't say it, but it's this feeling of like shame that just starts to storm over. And it's like,
Oh,
I'm
man,
not ashamed of it. And if you have a problem with it, that's your problem. Like,
Totally.
yeah, I don't know. I know where I am in life, and it doesn't bother me.
Good for you guys.
That's good.
Seriously. I'm also I never went to college. So I do, but I didn't really do anything else. So I can't be like, well, I was working on something else. No, what I did, I joined a cult instead. So that was my route. Yeah.
Are we going there? Are we going there today?
If you want to, I don't care.
Okay.
You wrote a song about this, right?
I did. I wrote a song. I did.
Okay, so if I'll let you say whatever you want to say, but I'm not going to be too inquisitive, you know? Which is rare for me, Jonah. You know this.
Oh man. Yeah, where do I even start with this? I didn't, obviously I didn't know it was a cult when I joined it.
This is all I know about this, by the way, so I'm like, I'm just sitting back.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. I'm hoping that there's a documentary that comes out about it soon.
Okay.
There is one in the making.
Good.
So, yeah, fingers crossed. I love like that. This is the era that we're in, where everyone just makes a documentary to dish. I love it.
You know what? There was one about a cult that I thought might have been, and I didn't want to be disrespectful and like ask you, because you had said something like,
yes or no, whatever.
You had said something to me about about the not too long ago, and I was like, I saw one on Netflix, and I was like, is this what she was talking about? But obviously it wasn't. If it hasn't come out yet.
It wasn't. How tragic. Although there are plenty of documentaries that are along the same lines. Like, I don't think if this other documentary comes out, I don't think anybody would be like, well, this is new and different.
Okay.
I've never heard this before. It's just it's very much like to the script a cult.
So what was the deal with this one?
So the deal with this one is that it was under the guise of being a school. So a college alternative. So it was specifically for 18, 19, 20-year-olds. So I was fresh out of high school. And I was going to go to Biola for an art degree. And by art, like fine arts. Like I wasn't at all interested in doing music at the time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Looking back, I'm like, ooh, that would have been interesting. But yeah. Partially, it was the money. It was very expensive to go to college. Obviously, this cult alternative it still cost money, but it was cheaper.
Okay.
And since I grew up in a very religious household, this was kind of like, it was kind of seminary adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically you graduate with a pastoral certification so that you can be a pastor. So yeah, and that's, you technically get college credits, I guess.
Okay. Wait, so it was actually legal? Like,
so
did you actually get, or that was just a lie?
No, so I actually did. I was a certified pastor.
And you got college credits, or that was a lie?
I did actually get college credits, but it was barely anything. Like it was
that's crazy though. How's that
even
legal?
Yeah, I don't know how there's a lot of other things that were illegal about it. But that was like the draw, right? They're saying like, well, this is like
Yeah.
a viable career thing, you know, and like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. Like you can have a career after this. No, so the first year that I was there, there was these things called standards. They called them standards, and they're essentially just rules
Okay.
for how to behave that first year. And the biggest one was that you were not allowed to talk to a member of the opposite sex for 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, 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 and I
Wow.
was like,
Okay.
in my mind, I was like, that's a little weird, but like, whatever. I'm not interested in dating.
I know what you mean. It's like that's not even like a red flag. It's like an orange flag. You know what I mean?
It's like I just don't care, you know. I'm like, I'm not there to do that anyway.
Could be some
So-
sort of religious thing, you know, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Sure. However, of course,
However.
I could go into this, you know,
We'll just make this the
for
documentary.
days. Right. The documentary. But like to summarize, it was just extremely toxic, abusive, very misogynistic, very religious,
As many cults are.
And it was super, super, super manipulative. Overall, it had nothing to do with religion, and it was all about money, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we ended up having to work fundraisers. So I like worked at like the Kentucky Derby and some like conferences. Like these are like it was like 12 to 15-hour days where all of us were shipped off to sometimes different states to work these events, and they got all the money from it. We got none
So
of it.
they just used you for like labor and stuff.
For
basically.
labor, free labor. Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you stay the whole time, or did you end up leaving? Or
So I stayed for 2 years.
Okay.
It goes up to 4.
okay,
After the second year, during the second year, I really was like, whoa, this is like
did it like shift the second year? Like
the
there's like a big
second
difference.
year is when so usually this happens in cults. They turn on you the second that you start to raise questions or point out
Oh yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
You do that, and they turn on you. And so I went through that where I called out the head, you know, the leader, and they definitely threw me under the bus, and I spent about a year being ostracized from everyone. I wasn't allowed to talk to my family. I wasn't allowed to talk to my friends. They were told not to talk to me. I was severely like ill, in and out of like doctors, and
Jeez.
I was given like so much work to do that I was getting like less than 5 hours of sleep a night, plus pulling like an all-nighter like once a week. So it was just like systematically they like were attacking like every part. So like no sleep, physical like illness, food was a problem because we got like a $25 stipend a week for food. Like that's what you were allowed to eat.
$25 a week?
That's
week,
What do you do with that?
crazy. That
Yeah, I know. And then they had these things called like probation. So like I was the RA of my like little apartment, but like if somebody left like a toothbrush like on the counter and they did a surprise check-in, and it wasn't perfectly clean, like you all got probation, which means you had to show up at like it was like 4 or 5 a.m. on Saturday for 5 hours. 4 hours, something like that, to just do like meaningless. To me, it was like kind of military punishment type of thing.
Jesus.
So like for one time, they were like, you had to bring like a bag of laundry. And so we sat on the gym floor at like 4 a.m, and you had to fold your clothes, and then somebody would mess them up, and then you'd have to fold them again. And you do that over and over again for 4 hours straight.
that's
Like it was like seriously like mental
That's
like
Jesus.
fuckery. Like they just tried to break
fuck?
you.
that sounds like
I
something
know,
straight
I
out of
know.
a
And
movie.
Now, is it one of those things where they?
Like,
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
So insane.
That's crazy.
In the moment I was like, I know that this is like fucked. Like
Yeah.
everything about this is like fucked, but I don't know what to do. you know?
Okay.
Like, I think a lot of people were like, this is really weird. I think part of it is this the shock of it, that you're like, you assimilate or what? Like, what do you do? Like, what is the other option? People got kicked out, of course.
Of course.
There were a couple people who were kicked out and had no other living shelter options, and so we're just homeless. Like, it was wild. Like, the stories, I'm laughing about it now, but obviously, like, it was a terrible time.
No, of course it's
Yeah, of
terrible.
course
I
it's
mean, I'm like trying my best
No,
not to, like, because
but,
it's
like,
one of
I
those
also, the ridiculousness of it, like, the more time passes, the more I'm like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like,
is it one of those things where you
were
were like captive, like just mentally, or were you like physically not able to leave?
No, it was definitely like a mental, like, it's a social thing. Like, it's a social culture that they build where, I mean, like, there's a lot of ways that they do it. There's a million different ways that they do it. But, like, if I had said, like, hey, I want to leave, they probably would have done a lot to try to stop me from leaving. But, like, at the end, they weren't going to, like, lock me in a basement,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't quite like that, but there's so many strategies that people like that have to keep people in there. Like, yeah, I could write a book on it. Maybe I will. But anyway,
Probably should.
It was a great experience in the sense that I have a ton of angry songs to write.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of, like, material for music.
No,
and art.
I get it. Yeah. No, I've obviously I've never been in anything close to that, but you know, I mean, I remember when we were writing the song that we did together, we kind of had a conversation, and that's when I found out about this. But obviously, I've never been anything like that. But I think we were able to connect off of like just being in a situation in some kind of group where it's like you feel shamed for like knowing the truth, and it's like. It's very strange. It's a weird place to be in because it's like, well, I could just leave this, but like, you know what I mean? As someone, I think naturally too, who like, I couldn't imagine being in that situation as someone. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I think as someone who I couldn't imagine being in that situation because I feel like someone who naturally like just fights and tries to fight at least when I think things are unjust or wrong. Like, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. So I do commend you for like getting out of that and like fighting for that and being so comfortable because I know a lot of people just don't want to talk about this kind of stuff or like shy away from. So I thank you for like, I don't even want to say opening up because I feel like you seem to feel, not that you're comfortable with it, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You seem to feel open about it as it is.
I do.
So.
It's so in context, like that was 2010.
Yeah.
So 2009 and 2011. And so it's been a long time, you know?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think I really was able to talk about it until 7 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
And that was just with like the people in my life, you know? Like now, and actually this all came out this was around the pandemic. So 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
There were some legal issues with this cult that came to the surface. Shocker.
Yeah.
And some things were uncovered, which resulted with all of the alumni from this program to create a Facebook group, and everybody got to share their experience. And so like for the first time, everyone was just like allowed to like be like, yeah, this was terrible. This person did this to me, or like this happened to me, and everything came out.
Was there anything that you were like shocked by? Like, wow, I didn't even, or like someone else was like, wow, I didn't even, like, was there stuff where you were like, I didn't even know that was happening there? Like, really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was 650 people in that group.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And I spent months going through reading people's stories, talking to people, connecting with people, because like this group, I guess, these people that were running this had been doing the same thing for 20 years. So it's like there were countless. I can't even begin to scratch the surface of the stories that were coming out of this.
Yeah.
And it was really, really tragic, but it was massively liberating because I felt like I was the only one, you know, that kind of like escaped and like had my version, but like I didn't know if anybody was going to believe me.
Yeah.
But to find out that about 650 people are out there who had the same experience.
Yeah.
Like
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so like, oh my God, I thought I was crazy. Like on some level, I really did think I was crazy. And then to find out like I'm not.
Being crazy made is the worst thing ever, I will just
No.
say.
Yes.
It is. Yes.
It's
I
crazy.
relate to that.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. Yeah, no, that's well, I guess I don't want to like dwell on it, but I just have one other thing. Like when you left, like how did that happen? How did that work? Like
good question.
Yeah.
So, I was supposed to go back for a third year. So I had actually agreed to go back for a third year because I had a lot of friends there. You know, I became very, very close. It's trauma bonding, but it's friends. And I felt like this obligation to go back to try to somehow salvage the situation, you know, to change it. And that's, I know, like now looking back at it, like I know that was like a trauma response, kind of like survivor's guilt, you know, like I have to make it better. Like all these people are there and like I can't just leave them. Like I can survive it, like I can deal with my own stuff.
Totally.
But I remember like packing my bags to go back and I just couldn't do it. Like I physically could not put the items.
So you just didn't go back?
Suitcase. I literally just was like, I can't do it. Yeah. So I was like, Mom, I can't. So I ended up going to Japan for 3 months with my mom.
Wow.
Instead. And that was huge because it gave me the time that I needed to think through things and to kind of disconnect, and like the physical distance, even just being on the other side of the planet, I think gave me the permission to work through some stuff, you know? So I literally just didn't go back because I was home I was in Colorado for the summer basically. And then I was it was in Georgia. I was in Georgia for the school year.
Yeah. So then what, like the period of time, now this kind of takes us all the way back, kind of full circle, because you were saying you were always writing and music and lyrics or whatever. Was that before all of this or after or?
Great question. So this, in a weird way, this experience actually cemented my love of music.
Okay.
Because it was in a church, right? Where music is huge.
Yeah, of course.
I had like mentors and I was on like 4 different teams, you know, like worship teams. So basically 4 different bands. There was a choir. I got a ton of like musical experience in performing and singing and instruments and all that because of this. So I'm like kind of crazy that I got a lot of my knowledge from the cult, but I would say that before that I was still, you know, listening to music and writing here and there, but I was never like performing anywhere. That was not for me.
No, I got you. Yeah. So then I guess kind of leaving that and like finding what you wanted, is that kind of like how you fell into that afterward?
Like after
basically,
that, I kept doing music in the context of church.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm realizing how complicated my story is, but I'm going to try to simplify.
No, it's amazing. I think you should write a book because it's
honestly
incredible. Yeah.
So in the context of church, I continued to do music. I had gained all this experience. I really enjoyed it. Um, I had made like friends, and then once I got back to Colorado, like I was plugged into my church and continued to. That's where I picked up keys and was playing piano.
Nice. Yeah.
And but it's all very simple stuff, you know. But it got me the experience of like, okay, I started with backing vocals, then I started like leading some songs, and then I was playing and leading, and then I had a team, and I learned about playing with a click and how to like, you know, improvise, and it just the experience of being on a stage and getting your nerves, you know, used to that.
Yeah.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
But I had never considered doing music outside of the church because that's the only thing I ever knew.
Yeah. Plus, I think there's a mindset, like, I hear it a lot. I didn't grow up in church really or anything, but from what I see, I think there is a lot. If you grow up with church music, it's like, okay, you know, non-secular music is like, no, kind of
totally.
thing.
Yeah, secular music was a no-no, first of all. But also, they shame, I think a lot of religion does this, not all of them, but a lot of religious cultures will say music has to be like devoid of self. Like it's supposed to be for God. So if you are the center of attention, if you're drawing attention to yourself in any way, that's selfish and innately wrong. And so I had really internalized that, which really impacted the way that I did music, how I sang especially. It actually made me very tense. And my vocal coach, who I found kind of along the way, kept saying, he's like, whenever you sing a church song, you sing like you're like holding something in. When you start singing something else, you know, it's just like I don't know, a Whitney Houston song or something, you sound so much more relaxed. And I'm like, that's so weird. But it was so internalized that like I
Which
couldn't...
damn that you can do that, by the way. I just want to shout out. That was like a little bit of like...
Wow. But
no, it's impressive. God. I just want to tell our viewers here, and I'm going to tell them again when we end this episode, but you need to go listen to her music, and she'll give you all the information on that at the end. But because that voice, besides the songs and the production or whatever, everything else we've like praised, that voice is incredible. So
I so appreciate it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to compliment you.
It was like, I just like really learning about like how art was stifled and like really suppressed in the church and religion. Like it just, and like the moment I realized it, oh my God, like my songwriting like exploded, my singing completely changed, my instrument playing completely changed, the way that I viewed music completely changed, and it was like this huge awakening, you know? So while like I owe a lot of my musical experience to church, like I had to get out of it to be able to write.
I think a lot of people have that story. A lot of famous artists do. I think I remember I was watching the Jonas Brothers documentary, and their dad was a pastor. And when they became like, they got kicked out of their church because they were making pop music. And
that's so stupid.
It's just crazy. A lot of people go through that kind of thing. So
it's
just
wild.
Religion is like an interesting thing, I think, in general. And that could be a whole other episode.
It's a loaded topic,
But I'm just glad that you were able to like find that, you know, it seems like you kind of found, I don't know where you are today with anything, but you seem very like balanced, I think, just in general. Like, you've kept all like the good pieces.
I think you meet a lot of people along the way. And you see the extremes of both sides, you know?
Yeah.
People that take it really, really, really too far. People that use it well. I met people that religion has helped dramatically.
Yeah.
You know, has changed their life. And then, of course, you see all the bad stuff, too. And so it just makes you, I think it makes you more understanding of the people that you meet.
Yes.
You know?
I think you learn a lot from other people. I think just in life and you know, good, bad, ugly, all of it is true. And unfortunately, that's how you learn most of your lessons is experience, and
That's
you can
right.
hear from people and watch things all day, but like
Yeah.
hands on. Yeah, no, it's wild, but I'm just glad that you were able to get to the point you are today because I think, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but I mean, you seem to be in a very, very good,
I appreciate
grounded, like place, and I could just tell, like, from your energy.
I feel that way more than I've
Good.
ever had in my life. The older I get, the more, I work through my stuff, the more
Yeah.
human I feel, the more clarity I have. Yeah.
I feel like you're expressing yourself, but you have your family. Like, it's just a beautiful thing to see. I think.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
I'm glad that translates.
it translates completely.
That's good.
And you do have the most, like, it's amazing, and like your family, and I mean, it's beautiful to see. So,
Thank you. Yeah,
definitely.
it is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Well, I wasn't even expecting, like, for us to
Sorry.
go here. No,
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I wasn't even expecting us to go here today, and like I'm very glad that we did because I think it's way more. This is probably Joan. I mean, I don't know if you're thinking what I think. This is like one of the most meaningful episodes we've probably had.
No, I
this
agree.
show.
Yeah, I didn't know how deep that was, and like I felt it was interesting how that like was like got you kind of into like playing music and how that translated, because I thought the only connection was your song "Playing God," which is my favorite song of yours, and because I know that was about the whole cult experience. Yeah, but
Boy, by the way, I have one question about that title. I've always wanted to ask you, and I've never. Is that a double entendre?
Yes.
Okay, good. It was back. Good. The things we get excited as songwriters, right?
Oh, I love it. I'm so glad that you know.
I love a good double entendre. I'm obsessed. Thank you. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Man.
I couldn't help myself. Yeah, that was. No, but I'm with you, Jonah. And you know what? I think that feeds back. Okay, so we're telling all of our guests this. We kind of have like a theme this season that it's coming up, and I think it just keeps naturally happening. And you just did it again. Jonah and I last season had a conversation, and Jonah, I think you know what I'm talking about how good, like, okay, the saying goes something like, it's like a popular thing, but it's like weak people, good times create weak people create bad times create
strong people
create good times create weak people, and it just kind of like goes in a circle, right? And I think what you just said today, like everything you said I think, like, because all of this darkness, this weak time created a very strong person. And I think now with your family, I think you're creating strong people. With your, just everything you've been through. So it's a beautiful thing to see, and it comes full circle, and that topic, it just comes up again this season. So,
that's so cool. I'd actually never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah. I love
Okay,
that.
well, I hope that, like, that's of some use to you.
It's just like, that's it.
It's a mind blower, right?
That's all of it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a great thing to like wrap up on. I mean, before we do, I just want to tell all of our viewers where they can stream, where they can look up what they need to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that, all the streaming platforms, it's just Hatori. So Hatori, which is my mother's maiden name. It's a Japanese
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Wow.
That was literally as creative as I could get with the stage name. So
I feel that.
And then if you're on socials, my Insta is Hatori Official, I believe.
Okay. I'll look it up. I'll verify that.
I think it's Hatori Music on TikTok. I should know this.
You do. Okay, so it is a Hatori Official on Instagram.
And then if you go there, there's a link tree.
This is hilarious. We're doing this right in real time. It's Hatori Music. Yes, you're right. Look at you. You got it right.
Oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. Yeah.
The things we do, right? To pat ourselves on the back.
Nice. And now what's your elevator pitch? Just kidding.
You're right.
Jonah, why do you got to do that?
You know what I've been saying lately is that it's kind of like, do you guys listen to Grandson?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I've heard Grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like my latest releases have a little bit of that vibe mixed with K-Flay and Billie Eilish.
That's perfect.
I could see
I
that.
think
Does that
that's
make
That's a
sense?
perfect.
I
Okay.
see that perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. It's kind of a weird, mesh of that.
Yeah.
But it changes, you know. I've been writing a song a week this
Mm.
year. I've taken a few weeks
Yeah.
off, but I've been posting those songs on SoundCloud. So
Nice.
you'll find a lot more music on SoundCloud than
Yes, just
my
go to
other
our
pla-
Instagram, look at the link tree.
Yeah,
It's all there.
Exactly. There
Yeah,
you go.
exactly. Because
That stuff you'll get some weird shit. So
but it's all great. It's all great. No, I love you brought up the elevator pitch, Jonah. That's great. Do you know yours off the top of your head? We should just share it
No.
real quick. I think that's
I
hilarious.
have no idea.
I don't remember
It just
mine. I have
reminded me of
mine.
Mastermind.
I just pulled mine up on
memorizing the
Spotify.
social.
I just pulled mine up on Spotify. It says male Olivia Rodrigo, Shawn Mendes fronting Green Day, and Rick Springfield 2.0. So there we go. There we go. Cool. Thank you. And Jonah, who asked the question, doesn't have his prepared.
It's like
Shame,
some combination
shame.
of Metallica, Green Day, Guns N' Roses, something along those
I think
lines.
that's very accurate. Very accurate. You just throw if you can throw Megadeth in there, it's perfect. It's just you.
Yeah.
Those four right there. It's perfect. Jinx is great. I know Hatori is some of the best.
Hatori is amazing.
Amazing, incredible. Why are you still watching this episode? Go stream her music. What the
Go
fuck's
stream
wrong
our
with
music
you?
right now.
So until next time, I'm so glad we were able to do this. My name is Nick Valley.
I'm Jonah Doc and I.
Don't forget that part, Jonah. You have to say I'm Jonah Doc and what? And you're what? What did Stevie give you? Your intro, remember? I'm Jonah Doc and I and and he's here. And he's here.
I'm here. I'm here.
that was
This was Red Rock Revolution. Bye.
Yeah, that's-